Today on the show, we're going to talk about E3 2022 and, well, is E3 dead? Let's get into that right now.
Matt.
It's Friday.
Now look at me come right back at you real quick. It is Friday. Our kids are done watching YouTube. Hey, speaking of YouTube,
Yeah.
E3 is not going to be in person again. Shocker. I don't think this is a... our friends over at VentureBeat wrote an article. We'll discuss it, but I think everybody saw this one coming.
Probably. There's been things happening in the world, and it looks like, now E3 is officially shifts to online because of the Omicron concerns they have, according to them. But we'll get into it. ESA, so the ESA is shifting the Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3, to an online event out of the concerns of the pandemic. Quote, due to the ongoing health risks surrounding COVID-19 and its potential impact on the safety of exhibitors and attendees, E3 will not be held in person in 2022. The ESA said in a statement to GamesBeat, quote, we remain incredibly excited about the future of E3 and look forward to announcing more details soon. The last thing on this article is just saying that means the show will likely take place online this summer for the second year in a row as COVID-19 concerns push the June 2021 show into an online-only event and scuttle the 2020 event entirely. Asked to clarify if there would be an online event, the ESA said it is, quote, excited about the possibilities of an online event. We have the Game Developers Conference is scheduled for in-person on March 21st to March 25th. And we E3 court is no more. E3 dead? ? Thumbnail.
So I think it is, and here's my reasoning.
All right.
I don't see why Xbox and the rest of everybody else needs them now. If we're already seeing what we've been seeing over the last 2 years, which is this trickle out and blog post. Here's news. It's just a blog post, which is still weird. I truly used to get excited for E3, and you'd have this huge tentpole event, and everybody would get to see this huge conference, and you'd have PlayStation there, Xbox there, Nintendo there, and it was awesome. Then Nintendo started doing their directs, which I did like, and they were ahead of the game. But they were still done, and we still watched them during E3 window.
Yes.
And Sony started doing the same. Right, they pulled away. They were no longer going to be at E3 in person.
Cinematic. And they're just like they did these.
Yeah, the last one they did was the one when they did Ghost of Tsushima. They kept changing the auditorium,
right?
And it was the one Sony conference where I was like, "What is going on here?"
Well, they did that with The Last of Us as well, right? When they did Last of Us 2, and they were outside at a barn, and it was all delayed.
It took too long. I like it when they give us the big scissor reel, which is probably what everybody's seeing on the screen right now as I'm talking. But I like that, and it was excitement. You get those Gamescom, you get all these certain conferences that happen, and that's when you get your news beats. Now we're getting used to blog posts and emails or tweets that go out and someone says hello to another person and we find out Rainbow Six Extraction is coming to day and date on Game Pass.
Yeah, no kidding.
I do miss the huge hullabaloos.
Yeah.
That I don't think we're going to see those anymore unless the Xbox and PlayStations of the world decide, okay, we're all going to do our own thing. We don't need E3. You don't need it. I don't see why you need it anymore. But we all decide at this certain month, I guess Summer Game Fest, we're going to put out all our trailers and everything like that and give you a huge news dump to get everybody excited for the following couple years. But we'll see. I just don't see a use for E3 at all anymore.
I don't either, other than it is supposed to be a very large media piece and push for people and pundits that are outside of even just traditional games media to get larger news channels and outlets to just say, there's a new console, or this is a new video game from PlayStation on their PlayStation 5. It's a lot for that because all of us are sitting there like, we can get the blog posts and the sizzle reels and streams on Twitch, and it is what it is. I'm with you. I like the concert-like event. I would even like you're saying, if they go down a path of, June or whatever is the month for our games conferences. We're doing them all independently, but we've kind of spaced them out, within a week or so of each other. And,
or like Xbox does one where you can go to it.
Yeah, and you're
PlayStation
just
does the PlayStation experience, which I thought I would
yeah.
always wanted to go to. Now it's canceled. Maybe Xbox does a fan event,
Well, they have their
and at that fan
Xbox, their
event,
fan expo, their fan fest, right?
yes, no, the fan fest, but say they do one in person, so they all decide, and then the other developers, the smaller ones like the Ubisofts of the world, they're at one of the other ones. So like everybody gets to do their festival, right?
Yeah.
And we get to see everything, and it's great. I do understand, like, we were gonna possibly go and be like, oh, we get to go to E3 this year. It's not gonna happen. It is what it is. And I think it was more just to go see people, like meet Cog in person, who,
Yep.
by the way, called me a lord yesterday. So I'm officially
Congratulations.
knighted. I'm excited about that. But it's it's something that I'm sure people will miss, seeing people in person. Like when I went to Fan Expo this year, and I got to meet Sean Capri and Ryan Turford and Matt from Burnout Brighter all in person, and it was phenomenal. And we all said we need to do this every year, and I'm gonna want to do it every year. So I get that part.
Yeah, it creates a sense of community, right? And you can't replicate being live to a concert, to an event, to a show. It's different. It just is. And your hype
Yep.
level, like if you're streaming it with the community or people literally like online with you, you can get some of that feeling, but I haven't been to it, but I can't imagine it's the same thing as sitting there and they unveil the next Halo, they unveil the next Gears of War game, and the audience that's there is going nuts, and that helps push the hype. And not to mention, they get to go get hands-on with the games, and we get to get more information, more details come out about what they saw behind closed doors, all those things versus, yeah, we'll email you a code, and here's your 10-minute demo, and you're like, okay. It is that hype of like, it's live. I'm sure it's a grind. Like you always hear about the stories of IGN, right? Of just them working around the clock, and it's insane. But I do miss that. It's that hype. It's that focus of it's live. Anything's happening. Stuff drops. You get Xbox and PlayStation changing prices on consoles. You get stuff happening right then and there. They're reacting to each other. But it is a different landscape, and I think the pandemic is obviously changing that. And what do you think though? Like, do you think that they will ever go back? Like, do you think that in 5 years, when things are finally, maybe, hopefully settled down and they normalize travel again and everything, do you think in 5 years they say, yep, we're bringing E3 back in person? Or do you think it's so far gone?
I think they'll try, but I think it is far gone when you already have Sony and Nintendo not being there, right? And you all you have now is Xbox. So like that's well, you have other developers. I shouldn't say that. Like Devolver Digital and I saw many a person in the media say I'm gonna miss their hot dogs in the parking lot. I've never had one. I'm kind of feel bad that I never got one, but it is what it is. But I think that we play on Xbox. Other people play on PlayStation. We play on both. Like I play PC, PlayStation, Xbox. It don't matter to me. But it would be cool to go to an event that's just PlayStation only. Like, I think what they need to do is this fan experience thing where Xbox does one in June and they pick a spot, do it in Seattle, do it wherever they want to do it. Like, I just pick in Seattle because it's, Washington State. It's close to where they are. Or they go in California or they go in Vegas and they just do these tentpole events and they all decide, okay, Sony's going tomorrow with their event and we're going to launch it live and put it up on YouTube. And Xbox is going to go with their event, but they let fans go there and be part of it.
Yeah.
And still let the media and so on and so forth, but it might make it easier on the media if they know, okay, Xbox is this week and all up. But I don't know. I don't know what the perfect answer is. I don't think after what we've seen, it sounds like E3 is dead. The E3 that we know is dead.
The one that we grew up on and you read and watch about, and even when it would be like broadcasted, or just felt like a real underground thing in some degree, right? Like where it's you'd find footage of it online years ago. I think it's dead too. I don't think the model can work anymore based off current environment globally. Obviously for the last 2 years currently, and even into next year, I sincerely doubt it. I just don't think there's a need. Like you said, if it's PlayStation, Nintendo are out, they're doing their own thing. Xbox is also all working very closely with a lot of developers or owns those developers. So you don't have a Bethesda conference. You have it part of the Xbox, and stuff like that is folding inward, right? And I imagine even next year, maybe even this summer, if Sony announces their Spartacus streaming service for games, what that will look like with developers is like a Square Enix or something like that.
Well, yeah, you got Ubisoft that's obviously going to be with Xbox based on their platform being there. If there is no conference and Ubisoft's going to show up at a show, then I think you can. And EA, if so, you'd have EA and Ubisoft showing up at the Xbox show, and you get this, which would be awesome. We get this 2-hour event.
Yeah.
And we get to see all these great trailers and all that, and then you get to go on YouTube and watch the 4K versions. And then you go to Sony and you get to see Square Enix and all their amazing first-party studios, and you get to see all that, and probably Sega and some other developers that are over there, Capcom and such. That would be awesome. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think what we're getting is, because this day and age where it's so easy to just go on YouTube or go on Twitter and find out all the information you want in a day, the way we consume our information and the way we want it is changing. I still like the tentpole events, but I think they're gone.
I think so too, and I think they go for much more of a, how do we get the message, the game out, the news out, or even the leaked information out first, be on top of it, and push, own the social media conversation, own the online mind share versus a competitor. And I think doing the events, it is passe. It's not that we don't want it. I would love it, but I don't think it just works. The model works anymore. Hopefully, it just means that the name and E3 itself stays alive. But I really hope that they can transform it, modernize it, innovate, do something different that we haven't thought of before. And maybe it's not them, though. Maybe E3 does become a thing of the past, and we just see everyone kind of splinter off on their islands.
Yeah, coming in with their own islands and then showing up at Jeff Keighley's thing.
You got it.
We'll see.
Let us know in the comments below. Do you guys think that E3 is dead? Do you miss it? What do you want to see them do in the future if E3 does continue in some form or fashion? Love to know. Let us know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Court, let's go get our kids back on YouTube for learning.
Yeah.
Learning words.
Fun times.
See you guys.
Bye.